Hello YouTube world, welcome to my channel. This video is a review of the movie The Woman King. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe. Now, let's get into it. So The Woman King is about not all female warrior group, because there were some men in this warrior group, but it was mainly comprised of women, and it was based in the 1800s. It's somewhat of a non-fictional movie because it is based on a true story, but it is heavily fictionalized. Like, some of the characters weren't really people; they were made up characters. Um, the movie, I was not going to see this movie, not because I didn't want to see it, but because it just wasn't on my list of movies to see. But I'm so glad that I went to see this movie because it was a 10 out of 10. This movie was so excellent. It really was. And nowadays, when movies are hit or like a hit or miss, I was so happy to get a hit. I was so happy. This movie is definitely a 10 out of 10. If this movie was not on your to-do list, like it was not on my movie to-do list, please put it on your list to go see because this movie is so good. There were a lot of things that I liked about this movie. One, I liked the depiction of the African family. Like, there was a scene in the movie where before all of the fighting and stuff started, they showed like African culture and African families, just living their lives and living beautifully and prospering and thriving, and just the beauty of the culture. I also appreciated the beauty of the cast members and just the beautiful African women in the movie. Um, the king's harem, like, all of the women were beautiful. They were brown, and brown women need to be celebrated. Brown women are celebrated. More and more brown women are celebrated, and so I just love the beauty of the women in this movie, and the clothing, the hairstyles. It was so beautiful. I also appreciated that they were a little, raw when it came to showing the different aspects of that time as it pertains to, the slave trade. They showed, what women went through. There was a particular character, I'm not gonna say who because I don't want to spoil the movie, but that was captured during war and was raped by men. And, during the slave trade, there was a lot of war going on between different African tribes because the Africans were selling Africans to the Europeans. So they showed that. They showed, the Africans making deals with the Europeans to sell the other African tribes into slavery. They showed, women being treated, harshly. They showed the slave trading. When the slaves were put on, um, they were set, just put out as cattle to be sold. Like, they showed these things. Now to what I did not like about this movie. Although to me it's a 10 out of 10, I feel like there was a trade off because I feel like this movie, I feel like there was an agenda to demasculinize men. I say this because I'm all for women empowerment. I am a woman. But there's a man and there's a woman. And in no way am I saying women cannot be warriors and do what men do. I'm not saying that at all. But in this movie, you have a male, you have a king, a man, a king, and then you have a woman who is posing, who is a general of an army. And in this army, there are predominantly women, and then there are a few men, and the women are leading the battle, are leading in the battle. Like there's one scene, there's a few scenes, like in almost every fight scene, where they show a woman like demolishing a man. Now, I have seen some women beat men up. I've seen it, like, but in most cases, the woman was way bigger than the man. What I'm saying is that, yes, a woman should be able to defend herself against a male. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is that in this movie, the female was the general of an army. There were men in the army, but the majority of the army was made up of females, and the females were leading the charge. All in all, this was a really, really good movie. Highly recommended. Again, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. It was really, 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 really good. That's all I have for this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, TTYL.